Let's talk JAPADA. The question of returning back home or staying abroad is one topic that is really high in our minds and in our conversations recently. We've seen content creators here on YouTube who are documenting their process of jacparing down, and even content creators who are also encouraging people to japa down. I know the dreams of jacparing down is a very personal one. It's a dream that borders around opportunity, heritage, and even reconnections to loved ones and your personal root. But the question I ask is Africa really ready for this return? My goal in this video is not to dismiss or discourage anyone from returning or reconnecting to their root. My goal in this video is to highlight the realities and the challenges that comes with this decision. Recently on YouTube, I have seen a creator who have been encouraging people to japa down. And I would like to react to some of the points she highlighted and also give you some of my reasons why I think we are not ready for this at this moment. We need to put in some more work. Hi guys, my name is Furo and this is Furo TV. So let's talk JAPADA. Just as I've said in the beginning, a lot of us are talking about JAPADA. We could even see creators who are documenting their process of jacparing down, and even creators who are encouraging people to japa down. Recently, there's one that is buzzing, which you all may have seen, that is encouraging people to japa down. But my own is, are we really ready for this japa down? Is Africa ready to receive us? Is Africa able to sustain our livelihood? Because at the end of the day, we all have desires to reconnect to our families. We all have desires to be in our roots. We all have desires to be home and be surrounded by the people we truly love. After all, what is the essence of life when you have to go away from the people you truly love? So for you to achieve that satisfaction, that contentment, that joy, the best way to live it is to be surrounded by the people you love. But unfortunately, surviving life and making sure our daily needs are provided have surpassed this feeling of trying to satisfy the feeling of, surrounding ourselves with the people we love. So if we look around, we'll see a lot of people are jacparing down. A lot of people are documenting their process. But my question is, are we truly ready? Is it actually the right decision to japa down at this point? This creator I'm referring to made various points why people should japa down. Number one, she made a point that there's a huge investment from the Chinese investor in a country like Nigeria. And I am saying, let us not be looking at that in, let's not forget, the whole story of the Europeans hijacking our gold and hijacking, as we all say, and the transaction our parents had with the European, which we think is the problem we are having today. Let's not forget about, that particular scenarios, because there is no way a group of people will come down to your country to invest without wanting something in return. And I'll always say it's time as Africans we begin to develop, we begin to build by ourselves, for ourselves. It's time we look inward. It's time we forget about people coming to invest in us. It's time we take a clue from countries who have done well for themselves and also do well for ourselves. Because if we look at it, we have the manpower, we have the brain power, we have everything it takes to build, our country, especially Nigeria. We have what it takes to build our continent. So let us look inward. Let us shun these accepting investors, because at the end of the day, it might actually be mostly for their benefit than for our benefit. At the end of the day, we will begin to cry just as we've been doing with the European. That is not to water down anything at the African continent have gone through, but I think at that point we should be careful, okay? And she also said the 10% tariff that was imposed on the import goods from China to the USA, that this will affect their economy, thereby making things difficult for people who live there. But in my own view, I think it's a 50-50 thing. It's a win-win situation. And although right now, the US government had looked at it and reduced this tariff from 145% to 30%, which is a good development. But even at that, is a win-win situation. This whole tariff that is slammed on the China import to the US can actually make the economy or break the economy. So you can't visibly say that it will break the economy completely. It could make the economy, because this will make manufacturers and even business people to look inward, to hire inward, hereby increasing the number of people that are in the workforce. It will create opportunities, which means there'll be, more flow of cash and more softer life. And let's not just pretend that this whole recession or hike in prices is only happening in countries like America and Europe. It's also affecting Africa. It's all over the world. So it's not easy anywhere. If you read the news, you will see that recession is happening everywhere. Hike in prices, cost of living, and everything is happening everywhere, including Nigeria. So you running from America and running back to Nigeria and thinking it's going to be easier, that I do not think it's going to be easier at any point. Where just be where you are and make do of what you have. Although economists and financial experts has advised that this tariff will affect the country in a negative way, because it will hike goods and services, hereby increasing prices for consumer. But at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation. And one thing I want you to understand is the US and all these developed countries are countries that run in checks and balances. So when a law is imposed, they always run checks and balances. So if they feel like it's not working, they will always retract and retrace their steps. She went ahead to say that dollar is moving away from being the reserve currency of the world. I beg to differ, because dollar is still the choice currencies for businesses, individuals, transactions, invoicing, and what have you. And US is still home to prestigious universities, formidable military, and still the global village for technology, sciences, and legal framework. And if you look at it till today, the dollar still remains the choice currency for businesses and individuals for invoicing. So thinking that because the economy is crumbling and so you pack your things and run back to Africa, it doesn't really make sense to me. At the end of the day, it is your choice. Whatever you want to do, it is your choice. But think rightly, think the impact, because it will be some kind of embarrassing situation that you move back home, out of hasty decision or emotions. Because for me, I think you moving back home out of hasty decision or emotions or the urge to be with your family, extended families and what have you, will make you, pick up all the life you've known for 10, 15 years, which could be mostly, the years of your adulthood. And you move back home and you find out that, what you have planned doesn't go well. So before you make that decision, look at people who are JAPADA and what is their experience. Recently, I was watching YouTube where I saw a lady who JAPADA and she was struggling just to get, medical treatment for her child. And, right now she's packing her stuff and moving back to where she came from. To be honest, Nigeria in particular is not ready for that, move. It's not ready at all. A lot of things that will be considered when you want to move, like medical infrastructure. Nigeria's system is still struggling. I think at this point, what we should be doing as Africans, as Nigerians, is calling our government to put things in place to prepare, the future generation to come back if there's ever going to be that possibility. Put things in place, medical infrastructure, put structures in place. Africa is a place of immense opportunities, especially Nigeria. I will keep saying it. I am a very, very patriotic Nigeria. By the end of the day, trying to feed my stomach and feed my children and making sure that my children, the people who I am, 100% responsible for and who I brought into this world, do not, die of hunger or, do not live a better life. It surpasses the urge to want to be close to my extended families, close to my root. So at the end of the day, we are adults and we got responsibilities. And for us to carry out these responsibilities, we need money. I agree that Africa has a very big potential, especially Nigeria. I will always say, I believe in the potentials of Nigeria. Do I see Nigeria getting better tomorrow or beyond? Now I see it. I see opportunities. I see potentials, but it is still potential. It is not yet, ripe or ready for harvest. It's still potential. So at this point, let's call on our government to create opportunities, to create jobs, to make the environment or the society suitable for businesses. At this point, Nigeria is not really suitable for business. Last time I was watching a guy on Instagram who had invested in structures or Airbnb in Lekki, and he was highlighting his struggles, and it was terrible. It's terrible to hear him say these things he's been struggling with. Nigerian system does not encourage businesses. It does not encourage people to thrive. So let's call on our government to help set this country for people to thrive. Then I think we should be ready to go back home in years from now. But for now, I do not think we are ready to go back home. I think, if you're older in age, you're in your 60s or your 70s, you're in your retirement mode, going back to Nigeria will be a great thing for you, because you could get cheaper services, if I may say so myself, because even looking at online and what people are saying, I do not think there are cheaper labor anymore. Because recently I was watching a guy who said he pays 2 million naira for a self-contained, a shared apartment, which I beg to differ. But before now, I do not know there are things like shared apartment, except if you are in the uni where you share apartment with your friends. But I do not know that adults share apartment. But this guy said he paid 2 million naira for shared apartment, which come to about 100 and something a month for shared apartment in Nigeria, where the minimum wage is ridiculous. There are no job opportunities. 100 and something. How many people will be able to afford 100 and something every month for rent? How much are salaries? How much are salaries? Even when you decide to do business by yourself, it is really, really, traumatizing to do businesses, because I've seen a lot of business people, share their opinion on what they are struggling with every day as business owners. Now, we need to call on our government to put infrastructure to help people thrive when they return home, because I will not want to return home and I'm struggling with electricity, bad roads, and what have you. So it's time we call our government. I know sometimes we as Nigerians, we put sentiment in these things. We want to be patriotic, but at the end of the day, patriotic is not going to pay the bills. Sentiment is not going to carry you through adulthood. So what we should be calling for now is our government to sit up and do something for us, so that we can come back home. But for now, these countries are, are doing. They're trying for us, and let's just tell you, just stay where you do. Just stay where you do. Easy. Forget all this grammar what they speak. Stay where you do. It's not gonna be funny, And just thinking about that, you go back home and things are not as you plan, and in 6 months you are going back. A lot of you are depending on content creation, and content creation is a 50-50 thing. You might blow, you might not blow, okay? But bill does not wait for you might or you might not. Money bill does not wait for you have money or you will not have money. You have to pay bills. So think about it well. If you're a young person and you're thinking about going back home, think about it well. Think about it very, very well. Except you're sure of your source of income, except you're sure that money, there's a place where you'll be digging out money. Because going to work in Nigeria is like living there and spending in dollars. Because if you check, equivalent of businesses these days in Nigeria, they are not even, targeting the Nigerian audience as their target customer. Most of these businesses in Nigeria right now are targeting people who live abroad, people who have dollars, people who have pounds, people who have euros as their target customer. So at the end of the day, it means you will live in Nigeria, work in Nigeria, be spending in euro and pound, which is not really, really a good idea. And even if you look outward to say, okay, I'll be working for countries abroad and live in Nigeria, it's not going to be easy for you because of, you know, time difference and all the rest of them, all the logistics working for these people. Do you think you will be able to actually live that relaxed and that's, you know, a balanced lifestyle that you really crave? So it's to still be hustling and bustling for you. And for those of you who are completely, you know, relying on content creation, because I see that a lot of you are relying on content creation. No, that content creation is a 50-50 thing. It's not assured that you will make it, okay? It's a 50-50 thing. So I hope with this few points of mine, I'll be able to convince you, but not confuse you, that JAPADA is not a good option if you are still a young person. If you are retired, okay, fine, you are going to rest, it's okay. But for a young person, I hope I've been able to convince, not confuse you that JAPADA, you are not ready for it. Until I see you in another video. Bye-bye.